What is up, guys? In today's video, we're going to be talking about what is it that you can do to make more profit as a contractor. Specifically, we're going to take a look at 3 things that you can do right now this year to double your profits in your business. Now, if you own a business and you want to make more profit, you do not want to miss this video. Let's go. All right, guys, so as we get started, do me a favor, hit the like and the subscribe button and drop a comment down below. Let me know where you are tuning in from. All right, so let's take a look at the first thing that you can do to double your profits in your business. This is going to be a really simple one, but I don't want you to overlook this. The easiest way to make more profit is to raise your prices. The easiest and fastest way to make more money in your business is to raise your prices. Literally, guys, most people undervalue their services and they don't charge enough money. This was so true for us in our business, okay? When I first got started, here's what I did. I didn't want to be the cheapest, but I didn't want to be the most expensive, so I set my prices somewhere in the middle, okay? Now, here's why that is a complete losing strategy. Probably heard the statistic that the average business goes out of business within 5 years, right? Where do you think the average business is priced? The cheapest, most expensive, or somewhere in the middle? Well, 90% of them are gone regardless where they are. So do you think you're more likely to be in business charging more money or less money? Exactly. Guys, if you price what you do or what you sell or who you serve based on what everybody else does, then you are setting your price against people that will not be here in 5 years. Let me say that one more time. Say it out loud so you can hear this. If you set your prices like everybody else does, if your services cost roughly the same as everybody else, know this, you are setting your prices against someone that will not be here in 5 years. Do you want to be here in 5 years? Then you need to make more money. You need to raise your prices, okay? You might say this, Shane, well, how much should we raise your prices? You're probably charging half as much. You should probably double your prices, okay? Shane, if I charge double, I'm going to lose customers. Okay, that's fair. I will roll with you for a second on that. But let's do a little experiment. Let's just say hypothetically that you've got your customers, and if you raise your prices, let's say that you doubled your prices and you lost half your customers. Did you know that you would make the same amount of money? If you raised your prices by 2 and you lost half your customers, you would still make the same amount of money and you would do half as much work. Think about that for a second, guys. You would make just as much money and you would work half as much. And you would only be serving the top 20% of the people that you want to work for anyway. Does that make sense? You don't want to work for all the broke people. Like, just stay at home, go fishing, spend time with your family. Spend more time looking for the rich people, folks. Let me tell you this. This is a little thought experiment that I kind of go through, and I want to ask you guys a question. When people buy stuff, okay, there's 3 things. When you do a search for something, if you want to stay at a hotel, for instance, you could either choose the cheapest hotel, you could choose the most expensive hotel, or you could choose one in the middle. Is that fair to say? Like, or whatever it might be, like however you're figuring it. Or maybe you're buying like a commodity. It doesn't really matter, okay? But there's going to be 3 ways to evaluate it. The cheapest version of it, the most expensive version of it, and the middle version of it. So how do people go about making those decisions? Well, people that are buying based on price alone are always going to buy the cheapest. That's it. There's no other option for those people, okay? So let's remove those from the equation. Now you're going to have the other people, like they don't want to buy like the most expensive. They don't want to buy the cheapest, so they don't want to get screwed over. They want a good deal. Okay? And those good deal people buy right in the middle. But true or false, there's a lot of bad quality service offerings from people that are priced in the middle. I mean, I think you would agree with that, right? Now, let me ask you this. When people pay the most, like why do they pay the most? Because have you ever heard the saying, you get what you pay for? I'm sure you have. Most of us do. Most of us believe that. I think you would believe that, right? If you bought the cheapest, you would expect the lowest quality. If you bought somewhere in the middle, you would expect average quality. But if you paid the most, true or false, you would expect the best quality. Is that fair to say? I think that's true. I know for me, when I buy something, I don't want to screw around with it being crappy, so I'm not going to buy the cheapest. But the price between the middle and the most expensive, it's not that big of a difference. Maybe 30% or something like that, you know? So I'm going to go ahead and buy the most expensive. Why? Because I want peace of mind knowing that I want the best. So here's what I'm trying to show you or convince you. There is a segment of the market that only wants the best. The same way that there's a segment of the market that wants the cheapest, then there's also a segment of the market that doesn't want to pay the cheapest or the most. They want the middle. And then there's also a segment that only wants the best. Here's what I'm telling you. Find those people. Go for those people because they will pay you the most. Here's another question. Do you think your company does the best work in your market? I know a lot of you watching this right now are gonna be like, yes, we do better work than this company and this company and this company. And you're probably true. You're probably correct. But if your mission is to serve people and you are the best, and we know that it's true that people that want the best pay the most, let me say that one more time. If we know that there are people out there that pay the most because they want the best, then by definition, you are not serving those people because they only pay the most. And you are stuck right there in the middle. Okay? Guys, If you provide the best service and you want to help people out there, you are obligated to charge the most, because there are the people out there that want you will never buy you because you're stuck in the middle. You got to charge the most. You literally have an obligation to do so. I'm trying to convince you to raise your prices. I promise you they are out there. There's a lot of mind trash out there, and I'm just telling you guys, there are poor people, there's middle people, and there's rich people. You need to find those rich people and work for those people. Serve those people, okay? Because I got news for you. The broke people are they're freaking pain in the butt too, if not more. Find the rich people and serve them at the highest level. You've got to provide the best quality service anyway. You might as well get compensated for it. Double your prices. You will lose some customers. You will make just as much money, if not more, and you will work less. Double your prices. Don't skip that. If you have a question, you disagree with me, drop a comment down below. I'll go back and forth with you. I'm just trying to convince you, try it. Just go for it, okay? It'll work, I promise. So the second thing you can do to double your profitability, this one sounds a little bit related to the first one, but it's this. You just need to get better customers, okay? You need to get better customers. So how do you get better customers? Yes, by charging more, you can get better customers, because better customers typically pay more, okay? But here's the best way that I like to get better customers. Birds of a feather flock together, right? So what would you say is the best way to gain customers, right? If you've got paid advertising or word of mouth. Word of mouth. Word of mouth is always like the best way to get your next customer. I think everybody agrees with that. I don't think you would have a problem with that either. So, true or false, you can get word of mouth with broke people, or you can get word of mouth with rich people. Does that make sense? So what you want to do is you want to get in with the rich folks, serve them at the highest level, because rich folks don't hang out with poor folks, okay? And you want the rich folks to refer you to other rich folks, okay? You want your name to be passed around at the country club, all right? Once you get in with some attorneys, some doctors, etc., you might get in with more because they hang out with each other, okay? They're not going to be down at the club bumping a 50 cent, yo. They're going to be out there on the golf course talking to their freaking rich people or whatever they do. You want to get in with the rich folks and you want to serve them at the highest level. And then when you do, you will start to get better referrals. Here's another example. One of the ways that I got in when I started my business, my first company, Simple Solutions, we did handyman work. That's kind of where we started. One of the things that we did was we specifically targeted and aimed at realtors. Why did we go with realtors? Because they knew a lot of people and a lot of people knew a lot of realtors. And plus, realtors' information was all over the internet, so I knew I could find a whole bunch of them. And I would target realtors because they were either buying or selling a house, and that person that was buying or selling the house, if they're selling it, they might need to fix it up before they sell it. And a lot of people that buy a house need work done right after they purchase it. So I figured, hey, my services would blend well right there. Realtors knows people on both ends of that spectrum right there. So I targeted realtors. But here's what I'm trying to get at, guys. When I got into realtors, there's tons of realtors. The average real estate agent sucks and is broke as a joke, okay? And they're not even in business very long. But the high end, the luxury realtors, dude, you only need a couple of those and they will feed you rich, nonstop clients. And here's the next thing I'll tell you is, and this is probably ADD moment, I do kind of go all over the place, but what it is. Don't work for your friends. If I can give you some advice, don't work for your friends. And I'll be honest with you, I got to making a lot of money. Our house was really big. It was 5,000 square feet. Okay, it's almost $2 million bucks. I wouldn't even work with folks in my neighborhood. These were multi-million-dollar homes, all right? That ain't the kind of rich I want to work with. You know what I'm saying? And we were in Franklin, so Thompson Station area. Here's what I'm telling you. I didn't go below the I-96 corridor. We worked up in the rich area, Green Hills, and in Brentwood, in northern Franklin. What I'm telling you is you really want to isolate the rich pockets and hang out with those people. Hang out with the real estate agents that sell that stuff. Does that make sense? Like, your level of rich needs to change, okay? Your friends are broke, okay? And you want to aspire to get to that next level, the next comma, the next million, all right? That's just one of the things I want to tell you. You got to change your mindset, all right? Don't work for your friends. Quit working in low-dollar houses. Go work for the rich folks. I mean, guys, this is good advice. I cannot tell you anything better than this. This is good advice. Work for the rich people. Do a great job. They will refer you. Now, another way that we wound up doing it was in water damage restoration anyway. We do a lot with plumbers. Real estate agents work with the ones that sell the multi-million-dollar homes. If you're going to work with a plumber, then you need to work with a plumber that's the most expensive in town, that works in the richest areas, okay? Because I got news for you. Working with a broke plumber is like working with a broke real estate agent. You're going to get some Jerry Springer watchers. You understand? Some people that ain't got jobs. They just sit at home all day, drink Mountain Dew, and watch daytime TV. These are not the people you want as customers, okay? When you're working with a super expensive plumber, one that charges $700 to freaking detach and reset a commode, those are not working for poor people. They ain't attracting renters. They're attracting freaking rich old people, and those are the ones that you want as a customer, okay? You don't want to work for broke people. I love broke people, right? I'll pray for them. Like, my family's broke, but I ain't working for them. Y'all follow me? I ain't working for them, and you shouldn't either, because you ain't gonna make no money. Now, let me back up. I gotta have an ADD moment going back to the pricing. When it goes back to plumbers, okay, I want you guys to know, most people in the restoration business, like if you use xactimate or xactimate or whatever that garbage platform is, you go look at the average pricing in there, and I think a water damage restoration technician is fetching like 45, 50 bucks an hour, somewhere in there. Bro, let me tell you something. You need to be $300 an hour. Your labor needs to be $300 an hour. If you want to charge $48 a man hour, that's fine. But you need to charge $350 for the truck that he's in. He did not walk to that job. That is a carpet mount truck extractor that you've got out there in the driveway. You got $15,000 of tools out there, and all of that is dedicated and burdened to that job. You need to be charging $300 per hour per truck. That's it. Did y'all hear me? $300 per hour per truck. Shane, we can't charge that much. You can too. You can too. Get that garbage mindset out of here. You're going to have to change that. Otherwise, you can be like every other broke franchise out there. Don't be like a broke serve pro. You got to go work for the rich folks. These are people that have $5,000 deductibles too. They pay cash, okay? I've become one of those people, right? And I want you to do the same thing. Quit working for poor people and charge more money. Way more money. Way more money. You probably ain't going to do it, but you should. Okay. Now, so we've talked about raising prices. We've talked about getting in better circles. We talked about working for rich people. Those are the things. Now, the last thing that you can do, if you're a contractor and you're not yet in restoration, here's what I'm gonna tell you, or whatever business you're in. I started as a handyman. The third thing you can do this year to double your profitability is to get a better vehicle. What I mean by that is get a better vertical. If you're a handyman, one thing, like one step up from being a handyman is you can do remodels and you do a lot of kitchens and baths. And then you might get into some light framing and then maybe some additions, okay? You go from like handyman to remodels and additions, and to maybe into new construction. Sometimes those are a little bit different, right? But either way, as you get into some of those other vehicles, you will make more money, okay? But I'm telling you, the creme de la creme, although I really don't know how to spell that or what that means, I think it means the good stuff. The creme de la creme, the sauce, y'all, the saucy stuff, the most profitable vertical in any contracting niche is water damage restoration. I'm just gonna tell you, water damage restoration is the most profitable vertical that there is. How do I know? I've done it, okay? And most people, they get into restoration, okay? And then they start doing the other subpar profitable verticals. Like they'll get hung up on mold or they'll get hung up on recon. Yo, recon's a big ticket, but it's not a big profit margin. Most people are making less than 20%. Okay, and for you guys that tell me you're making 50% margins, I would like for you to drop a comment down below and show me your formula for margin. Because I bet 90% of you don't even know the difference between markup and margin. And I got news for you. On $500,000, it's a lot of money. So that's the difference between $500,000 and $333,000. So I ain't good enough math to spit that number right off 10. Was that 270 something thousand? But it's a lot of money, guys. Markup and margin are far different. And most people think that they're getting a profit margin and they're really getting a profit markup. And that's the reason why you're stuck in that tax bracket that you're in too. But get into a better vehicle. If you're a paralegal, become an attorney, right? You get a better vehicle, okay? You got to get a better vehicle. So it's just like this. Now that I am coaching and offering coaching services to restoration contractors, I am able to make as much money, but with far less drag, because I can serve more people. That's a better vehicle than just restoration. Does that make sense? Okay, are you following me? So handyman to contractor to restoration to water damage restoration, and then maybe into coaching or consulting and maybe into software. Each one of those has a different scalability factor. Does that make sense? And so those are all different vehicles. I've done all of them, okay? I've got all of them from coaching all the way down to software. And each one of them, it requires a different skill set, okay? But if you're watching this right now, you're probably still at the contractor phase. And you know what? That's way easier to grow and scale. And you can make more money there. You really, really can. As a matter of fact, I've made more money as a restoration contractor at times than I even do now, okay? But this allows me more freedom and more flexibility. Now, this being said too, full disclosure, if we're looking back like at my career, when I grew, we grew so fast in like an 18-month period. Most people don't grow that quickly, all right? And I don't even advise growing that quickly because it was just like a shit show left and right, every turn. Like we just didn't know what we were doing. I was young. But you know what? That's why I help people grow their company, all right? I've known the secrets to grow it for years. I've gotten a lot better at the systems and processes. These days, I help you guys by showing you what not to do. Does that make sense? And over the years, now we've built some better systems, but I didn't know that stuff, 10 years ago. I didn't know that in my mid 30s, all right? Now I'm in my mid to late 40s and I figured a few things out, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, it goes back to a better vehicle. If you guys are in contracting right now, there are different levels of contracting that you can do, right? And even when you get into restoration, you go back to getting into better circles and charging more money. So again, raise your prices. No matter what vertical you're in, raise your prices. Then you need to get better referrals and then get the better vehicle. Once you're in the greatest vehicle, then you're gonna start back over. If you're in the best vehicle already, water damage restoration, what do? Raise your prices, exactly. And then what do? Increase your network and then get a better network, and then that's how it works. Get in the best vehicle, so raise your prices, referrals, vehicle. Once you're in the best vehicle, water damage restoration, then you want to raise your prices and you want to get referrals. Now I'll say this, I kind of messed that up. As I'm thinking about this, if restoration is the vehicle that you want to hone in on the proper job types, okay? So restoration by a whole is probably a better vehicle than most other contracting businesses. Most, not all, okay? Guys, if you want to be the best screening and porch company in the world, you can be, but those are tougher to scale. Restoration is probably a little more simple to scale because they tend to look a little different, you know what I'm saying? Like traveling carpenters tying into roofs, those are kind of a mess. Restoration's a little more scalable, but not all aspects of it, okay? It depends on what you want to do. If you guys want to be a big restoration company to offer everything, you certainly can. But you need to decide, what does your day look like? Once you get rich, do you want to go to the office or do you want to take some time off, okay? And water damage restoration is probably the least taxing on the owner, but that's for a different discussion. So anyway, again, raise your prices, get better customers with referrals, enrich people, and thirdly, get the best vehicle. Restoration, specifically water damage restoration. Hey, if you guys have any questions, anything like that, drop a comment down below. I'll read all these. We'll see you guys in the next video. Hey, if you guys enjoyed that video, I've got 3 things for you. First off, there's a couple of other videos somewhere on the screen. You can click those now to go watch more content about growing your restoration company. Number 2, if you haven't already subscribed, click my face below and that will subscribe you to the channel. And finally, if you would like for me to help you grow your restoration company, go to workwithshane.com, put in your information, and let's get on a 15-minute call. We'll see you then.